I slept badly, very badly. Every night was a battle with the clock. I went to bed hoping to rest, and yet the hours slipped by one after another without mercy. I tossed and turned, switched sides, closed my eyes, opened them again. I listened to every sound in the house as if it were an hourglass reminding me, another sleepless night. My body hurt. My neck woke up tense, as if I had slept on a rock. And the worst part was my mind. Active, insistent, reminding me of everything I didn't want to think about. The past, the mistakes, the absences. The silence of the night amplified everything. I tried everything. Chamomile tea, valerian, warm milk. I even tried a few sleeping drops a neighbor recommended. Nothing. Guided meditation, soft music, changing rooms. Nothing. Insomnia had me trapped, and with it came the sadness of not feeling well enough to enjoy the day. Until one day, almost by accident, I changed something I never thought would matter so much. My pillow. I didn't replace it with a more expensive one. I didn't buy one of those special cervical models. I only changed what I had inside it. A detail so simple, so small, that the impact surprised me. That night I slept like I hadn't in years. And since then, my rest has been different. Today I want to tell you what I did, why it worked, and how you too can improve your rest starting this very night. Especially if, like me, you've already passed 60 and you feel sleeping well is getting harder and harder. And before I go on, tell me in the comments, how old are you and where are you watching me from? I'll love to know if this message is reaching those who truly need it. Sleeping is something we take for granted when we are young. But as the years go by, sleep becomes one of the first things that begins to change, and not for the better. It's no accident. It's biology. And it's also the way we face those changes. With age, the body starts producing less melatonin, the hormone that regulates sleep. That means it's harder to fall asleep, and when you do, the sleep is lighter. You notice it right away. Any sound wakes you up. You wake up several times a night for no clear reason, sometimes at 3 or 4 in the morning, and you can't get back to sleep. On top of that, sleep cycles get shorter. Before, you could sleep 6 or 7 hours without interruptions. Now you sleep 2 or 3 in a row, then wake up, toss and turn, and if you're lucky, you fall back asleep a little more. But that sleep isn't restorative. It doesn't recharge you. It only stretches out the tiredness. And to all that you have to add what nobody tells you, the silent ailments that appear with the years. Back pain, arthritis in the knees or shoulders, nighttime cramps, digestive problems. In men, the prostate becomes a constant night alarm. You have to get up to urinate 1, 2, sometimes 3 times a night. In women, hormonal changes after menopause bring hot flashes, anxiety, and sleep interrupted by discomfort. It's not just your age, it's how you manage it. It's the way your body adapts, or doesn't. Because many times we accept sleeping poorly as part of old age, as if it were inevitable. But the truth is, there's a lot that can be done. Not to sleep like a young person again, perhaps, but to sleep with dignity, in peace, without that sense of defeat that a sleepless night brings. I remember a conversation with Mr. James, an 86-year-old gentleman I met during an activity at the health center. He told me something I never forgot. The problem isn't not sleeping. The problem is being afraid the night will come back. And he was right. When sleeping becomes a daily battle, it starts affecting you beyond the body. It changes your mood. It steals your energy. It makes you age faster. But he also told me something else. I learned there are small things that make a big difference. And one of them, curiously, was my pillow. And that was when his story and mine started to look alike. Sleeping badly is not only a matter of age, it's also a matter of information, attention, and taking control of small things that seem insignificant, but can change everything. For a long time, I thought sleeping badly was my age's fault. That insomnia, waking in the middle of the night, and morning aches were simply part of getting older. But it wasn't so. Or at least, not entirely. There was something else. Something I used every night, for hours. And it was affecting my body without my realizing it. My pillow. You don't realize how important it is until your neck starts talking to you. At first with little twinges, then with pains, later with stiffness, until you wake up feeling as if you slept on a stone. I would get up with pain in the nape, tense shoulders, and often a headache. For a while I thought it was stress, or maybe high blood pressure. I even had tests done, and everything came back fine. Until one day I realized the pain only appeared in the mornings. It was the way I slept. It was my pillow. The relationship between the neck, the spine, and the way we rest is much more delicate than it seems. When the head isn't aligned with the back, the body stays in constant tension while we sleep. Muscles don't relax. Nerves are compressed. Blood doesn't flow as it should. And that, instead of repairing the body, punishes it. We sleep, but we don't rest. Or worse, we injure ourselves without knowing it. In my case, the mistake was that my pillow was too high. It had lost firmness, and to compensate, I put another one on top. That made my neck tilt all night in a forced position. That tilt put pressure on the cervical vertebrae that turned into knots, pains, and a feeling of heaviness. And it wasn't just me. Talking with other people my age, I discovered many were sleeping on unsuitable pillows. Too soft, collapsing as if they had no shape. Too hard, not adapting to the contour of the neck. Too old, with clumps or internal lumps, or even filled with materials that were long past their prime, accumulating dust, mites, and moisture. But how do you know if your pillow is harming you? Here are some clear signs. You wake with neck, head, or upper back pain. You struggle to find a comfortable position when you lie down. You move a lot during the night. You get up feeling stiff or with tingling in your arms. You notice your pillow has deformed or no longer springs back to its original shape. If you felt any of this applies to you, your pillow may be doing more harm than good. And the most unfair part is that nobody teaches us to pay attention to it. We change the mattress, the sheets, the lights, but we forget what supports our head for 6 or 7 hours every night. The neck is like a bridge between the body and the mind. If that bridge tenses or its foundations go out of line, everything else starts to fail. And incredible as it may seem, a good night's rest can begin simply by truly looking at what you're using to support your head. And yes, that was only the beginning of my change. Common mistakes we make with our pillows. One of the biggest mistakes we make with our pillows is taking them for granted. We use them every night, pat them into shape with our hand, fluff them, flip them over when they're hot. But we rarely stop to think if they're really helping us rest. With the years, this becomes even more important. The first mistake, and perhaps the most common, is using an old pillow. Many people keep the same pillow for 5, 10, or even 15 years. Some do it out of habit, others out of attachment, and others simply because they don't know they should change it. The truth is that a pillow, with daily use, deforms, accumulates moisture, sweat, mites, and dust. All that not only affects hygiene, but also the support it gives the neck. A pillow should be replaced at most every 2 years. After that time, it no longer does its job as it should. The second mistake is choosing a pillow that's too high or too low. Either option can harm the spine's natural alignment. A high pillow lifts the head too much, forcing a curve that affects the neck and shoulders. A low pillow, on the other hand, lets the head fall back, which can also cause pressure and tension in the cervical vertebrae. Neither allows the body to truly relax. The ideal is a height that keeps the head aligned with the spine, as if you were standing, just lying down. The third mistake is not taking into account the position you sleep in. We don't all need the same pillow. If you sleep on your side, you need a firmer, higher one to fill the space between your neck and shoulder. If you sleep on your back, a medium-height one with an ergonomic shape can help. And if you sleep on your stomach, though it's not recommended, the best is a very thin pillow or none at all. Sleeping with a pillow that doesn't match your usual position can be the cause of many morning aches. Another silent mistake is not washing or changing the pillowcase frequently. The case protects the pillow from sweat, facial oils, dust, and bacteria. If you don't wash it regularly, at least once a week, that environment can cause allergies, skin irritation, or even affect breathing at night. Sometimes we think we sleep poorly because of age, when in reality we're breathing stale air and sleeping on dirty fabrics without knowing it. A pillow isn't just an accessory, it's a fundamental tool for our rest. And although it seems simple, there's a big difference between sleeping on something suitable and sleeping on something that hasn't been checked in years. Sleeping well doesn't start when we close our eyes. It starts when we choose where and how we're going to rest our head. And many times correcting these mistakes is enough to begin noticing changes from the first night. After so many sleepless nights, after trying methods and remedies without results, I reached a point where I thought nothing would work. That deep sleep wasn't for me anymore, that my body had simply gotten used to not resting. But I was wrong, and I discovered it with something so simple. It still surprises me. I didn't change the pillow, I changed what I put inside it. It was an idea I stumbled upon, reading a little article about natural remedies for insomnia. It said some cultures for centuries have placed herbs inside pillows to help calm the mind. It struck me as curious. At first I didn't take it seriously, but after an especially bad night, I decided to try. I took my old pillow, carefully opened the inner cover, and removed part of the filling. In its place, I added a mix of dried lavender, a few flax seeds, and small bits of memory foam that I had left over from an old cushion. I didn't do it precisely. I just used my intuition. I closed the pillow, put on a clean case, and lay down, expecting nothing. That night, something changed. The first thing I noticed was the aroma, a soft floral fragrance that reminded me of walks in the countryside when I was young. Nothing strong or cloying, just a clean, serene scent. It felt as if my head were resting in a place full of peace. I took a deep breath, and for the first time in weeks, I felt calm before closing my eyes. The second thing I felt was the support. The foam mixed with the seeds created a shape that adapted to my neck. It wasn't hard, but it wasn't mushy either. It kept my head in a comfortable position, as if someone knew exactly where my neck needed to be so it wouldn't hurt the next day. And then, the coolness. Even though the night was mild, the pillow felt more airy. It didn't heat up as much as the others. I didn't have to flip it over in the night to find the cool side. That little mix seemed to breathe with me. But the most striking thing was what I didn't feel: pain. I woke up, opened my eyes, and there was no stiffness in my neck, no tension in my shoulders. My head didn't ache. My body felt rested, as if I had truly slept, not merely passed time with my eyes closed. I repeated the formula the next night, and then the next. Day after day, I noticed my awakenings grew gentler. My daytime mood improved. I no longer needed a mid-morning nap. And most valuable of all, I no longer feared the night. That small change, something as simple as modifying my pillow's filling, became a profound transformation. It didn't give me back my youth, of course, but it did give me back a quality of rest I had already written off. And that's when I understood that sometimes we don't need big solutions. Just a small tweak, a forgotten idea, a simple action, to recover something as essential as sleeping well. When we reach a certain age, everything in the body becomes more sensitive. Sleep, muscles, bones, skin. And although many ignore it, the pillow we use every night can be a great ally, or a silent enemy. Choosing a good pillow isn't a luxury, it's a necessity, especially for those of us who have passed 60. And the first thing we should look at isn't the color, the brand, or whether it looks pretty. What matters is what's inside. Let's start with materials. One of the most recommended for older adults is memory foam. This type of pillow adapts to the shape of your head and neck, and then slowly goes back to its original form. It's ideal for relieving pressure on the cervical spine and keeping proper alignment with the rest of the spine. The feeling is as if your head were hugged by the pillow without sinking too much. Another excellent option is natural latex. Unlike foam, latex is firmer, cooler, and also more durable. It offers good support, resists mites, and adapts without deforming over time. It's perfect for those who need to maintain a steady posture through the night without the pillow caving in. There are also microfiber or siliconized hollow fiber pillows, which are softer, lighter, and more affordable. They're a valid option if they're renewed frequently, though they tend to lose shape faster. They're recommended for those who don't have cervical pain or who need gentler support. Besides the material, there are 3 essential aspects every pillow for older adults should have. First, breathability. With age, thermal sensations change. Many people sweat more at night or feel hot easily. A pillow that doesn't breathe well traps that heat and creates discomfort. Look for one with air channels, cool fabrics, or perforations that help regulate temperature. Second, support. The pillow should hold your head firmly yet comfortably. If you sink in completely, your neck curves. If it's too hard, your head stays raised in an unnatural position. Balance is key. Third, ergonomics. Not all heads are alike, nor are sleeping styles. That's why many modern pillows have an undulating design or a neck curve. This kind of design can relieve pain and improve rest from the very first night. Now, the ideal choice also depends on how you sleep. If you sleep on your back, you need a medium-height pillow that keeps your neck aligned with the rest of your spine. An ergonomic shape can be a big help. If you sleep on your side, the ideal is a firmer, higher pillow. It should fill the space between your head and the mattress, keeping the spine straight from neck to hip. If you sleep on your stomach, which isn't the most recommended, the best is a very thin pillow, or even none, to avoid twisting the neck. And what if you can't or don't want to buy a new pillow? There are ways to adapt the one you already have. For example, you can add or remove filling to adjust the height. Place a folded towel inside the case to improve support. Use a breathable, clean cotton case to improve freshness. Add a small sachet of natural herbs like lavender or chamomile to promote relaxation. The perfect pillow isn't the most expensive one, nor the one advertised on television. It's the one that respects your body's shape, the one that adapts to you, not the other way around. Because when your neck rests well, your whole body is grateful. The power of relaxing scents in the pillowcase. There's something deeply human about smells. A scent can bring back memories, calm the soul, or make you feel at peace without knowing why. And although many ignore it, the smell you breathe as you sleep can make the difference between a night of rest or a silent struggle with insomnia. It was almost by chance that I discovered the power of aromas in my pillow. One day, while tidying an old drawer, I found a little cloth sachet with dried lavender flowers. When I squeezed it, it released a soft, sweet aroma that instantly took me back to the summers of my childhood. I felt calm, safe, as if something in me had loosened. That night, without overthinking it, I slipped that sachet inside the pillowcase, and the change was immediate. Aromatherapy, though many associate it with modern spa things, has been used since ancient times to calm the mind and encourage sleep. Lavender, for example, is known for its ability to relax the nervous system. Inhaling its aroma before bed can help reduce anxiety, slow down racing thoughts, and prepare the body for rest. Another very helpful plant is chamomile. It's not only for tea. Its dried flowers, placed inside a cover or little cloth sachet, release a gentle fragrance that soothes the mood and eases breathing. And if you have respiratory issues, eucalyptus can be an ally. Its fragrance clears the airways and relieves that feeling of congestion that so often interrupts sleep. Now then, you don't need to buy expensive products or use sprays with harsh chemicals. It's enough to prepare a small cloth sachet. It can be a scrap of an old sheet or t-shirt, and fill it with dried flowers. If you don't have lavender, you can find it in herbal shops or local markets. You can also use a few drops of essential oil, but sparingly. Just 1 or 2 on a corner of the pillow, away from your face, is more than enough. Another option is to lightly scent the pillowcase using a handkerchief misted with water and a few drops of essential oil. Do make sure it's natural, free of artificial perfumes, and that there's no direct contact with the skin to avoid irritation. One night, after one of those long, heavy days, I went to bed without many expectations. But as I rested my head on the pillow, I breathed in deeply and felt that familiar lavender scent. I closed my eyes. There was no noise, no racing thoughts, only a feeling of relief. And I said to myself, this feels like coming home. Sleeping stopped being a struggle. It became a return, a refuge, because it's not only about the body, it's also about the soul. And sometimes, something as simple as the scent that accompanies you when you close your eyes can be the invisible hug you needed so much. The importance of a nighttime routine before bed. Sleeping well doesn't start when you get into bed. It starts much earlier, and many times, without realizing it, we sabotage our rest with the habits we keep in the last hour of the day. When you're young, the body forgives almost everything. You can eat late, watch television until dawn, fall asleep with the phone in your hand, and still rest. But as the years pass, all that becomes a burden. The body no longer disconnects so easily. The mind doesn't shut off on its own, and sleep slips away. That's why the nighttime routine becomes essential. 1 hour before bed, begin the ritual. And the first step is very simple. Dim the lights. You don't have to turn everything off, but do lower the intensity. If you can, use a warm, soft lamp, the kind that's gentle on the eyes. The body responds to light, and when it perceives darkness, it begins to produce melatonin, that natural hormone that prepares the brain for rest. The second step is stepping away from screens. No loud television, no phones, no tablets. Those cool, fast lights that change color constantly confuse the brain. They stimulate it. They activate it. Instead of inviting rest, they push it into an alert state. The best thing is to turn all that off at least 40 minutes before sleep. In their place, you can read a little, write in a notebook, or simply breathe. A few minutes of deep breathing, in silence, help calm the heart rate and clear the mind. You don't need complicated techniques. Just sit or lie down, close your eyes, and breathe slowly, feeling the air going in and out. And here's where the pillow becomes part of the ritual. Yes, your pillow can become an anchor for your rest, a symbol that the body and mind recognize as a signal that it's time to sleep. You can fluff it gently each night, arrange it carefully, or apply a small mist with a relaxing scent, as we mentioned earlier. Even something as simple as resting your head and saying to yourself, "It's time to rest," can make a difference. The power lies in repetition. When you repeat the same gestures every night, the brain learns. It recognizes that pattern as a closing sequence, as if each step were a door you close before entering the bedroom of rest. Over time, your body will begin to relax as soon as you start the routine, because it will already know what's coming. Everything doesn't have to be perfect. Consistency is what matters. Sleeping well is like preparing soil. If you do it patiently, each night becomes a little easier. And when you add a good routine to a suitable pillow, sleep stops being a problem and becomes a gift. Sometimes we think we sleep badly because of age, stress, or because that's life. But in reality, without knowing it, we're making small mistakes that sabotage our rest every night. They're silent mistakes, almost invisible, that slip into our routine. You don't feel them immediately, but they're there, stealing minutes, and sometimes hours, of good sleep. One of the most common is drinking coffee in the afternoon. Many love a cup after lunch or even later in the day. But what not everyone knows is that caffeine can remain active in the body for many hours. Even if you don't notice it, it's still there, keeping the brain alert. And when night comes, it's as if your mind was still running. That's why, if you can, avoid coffee after 5 in the afternoon. Swapping it for a gentle infusion, like chamomile or valerian, can make a big difference. Another very common mistake is falling asleep with the television on. Some people say it keeps them company or helps them sleep. But the reality is different. Even with your eyes closed, the flickering light, the shifting sounds, and even the volume changes continue to be registered by your brain. They don't let the mind sink into the deep stages of sleep. It's like trying to sleep in the middle of a silent fair. And if the TV stays on all night, your sleep is interrupted without your noticing. If you need noise to sleep, try soft nature sounds or relaxing music without lyrics. It's also very important to take care of the ventilation and temperature in the room. Sometimes, without realizing it, We sleep in stuffy spaces with little fresh air, or in rooms that are too hot or too cold. The body needs a stable temperature to relax, and clean air helps you breathe better. Try opening the window for a while before bed, even if only to renew the air, and aim for a temperature between 18 and 21 degrees. Not too hot, nor so cold that you curl up. And finally, there are little details that seem insignificant, but have a big effect, like sleeping in very tight pajamas, using overly heavy blankets, having clocks with bright lights, or devices with blinking LEDs. Each of those elements can interrupt rest without your realizing it. Sometimes, only when you remove them, do you discover how much they were affecting you. Sleeping well isn't a matter of luck. It's a matter of observing, adjusting, and caring for those details that make the difference. Like tuning an instrument, each string, each note, each pause counts. And the best part is that many of these changes cost nothing, only a little attention. Sleeping badly doesn't always have to do with the body. Sometimes the problem is elsewhere, in the head, in the heart, in all that we feel and that, when the lights go out, begins to weigh more. Anxiety, repetitive thoughts, nostalgia. All those emotions that during the day we manage to push into a corner sit with us in bed at night. And they don't keep quiet. There are nights when you close your eyes and instead of silence, you hear an endless list of memories, pending tasks, worries you can't solve. You turn over, you sigh, you open your eyes, and there's the clock again. Emotions switch the brain on as if it were daytime, and no matter how tired the body is, the mind won't surrender. That too is insomnia, and there's no age that spares us from that. On the contrary, with the years, we accumulate more memories, more fears, more absences. Nostalgia for those who are no longer here. Anxiety about the future. The loneliness of a home that used to be full. All that has weight, and that weight often keeps you from sleeping. But I also learned we can create a refuge, that the bed, and even more so the pillow, can become a safe space if we give it that value. When you rest your head on something soft, cool, that smells good, that you chose with care, you're not just caring for your neck, you're telling your mind, here you can rest. Sometimes it's enough to close your eyes and associate that feeling with something good. Visualize a calm place, a happy memory, a beach, a square, a beloved face. You don't need to travel or move. Just let your mind rest on something kind. As if each night, when you lie down, you climbed into a small boat that carries you away from your worries, even for a few hours. There are simple techniques that help a lot. For example, 4-7-8 breathing. Inhale counting to 4, hold your breath to 7, and exhale counting to 8. This calms the nervous system. Body scan. Focus on each part of the body, from the feet to the head, releasing tension little by little. Writing before bed. Jotting your thoughts in a notebook frees up mental space. It's like leaving your burdens outside the bed. And above all, speaking to yourself kindly. Many times we're hard on ourselves. We blame, demand, judge. But at night, when everything is silent, what we need most is a gentle voice that says, "You did the best you could, and now it's time to rest." Sleeping well is also an act of forgiveness, of letting go, of trusting that tomorrow will be another day. And when you make your pillow a space of calm, when you repeat that ritual night after night, the body learns, and the mind does too. The correct position for sleeping after 60. As the years pass, the body becomes more delicate. The sleeping position that once went unnoticed can now make the difference between waking with pain or with energy. Not recommended positions. Sleeping face down forces the neck to twist for hours and compresses the chest. It causes cervical problems, back pain, and breathing difficulty. Recommended positions. On your back with a pillow under your knees. Relieves lumbar pressure, keeps the spine in a natural position, improves circulation, and reduces discomfort from low back pain or varicose veins. On your side, preferably the left, with a pillow between your legs. Benefits the heart and digestion, keeps hip and spine aligned, Reduces morning aches. Ideal for snorers or those with mild apnea. The right pillow. On your back, medium height, neither pushing the head forward nor dropping it back. On your side, higher, filling the space between shoulder and ear. Avoid two mismatched pillows or ones that are too low. A simple adjustment in the way you sleep can give you back the ability to get up without pain. When to change your pillow. An old pillow can ruin your rest and health without your noticing. Signs it's time to change. Lumps or depressions that force you to adjust it constantly. Excessive night sweating, loss of breathability. Itching, irritated eyes, or congestion might build up. Dark stains, bad odor, or a worn look. Replacement frequency by material, synthetic fiber/microfiber, every 1 to 2 years. Memory foam, 2 to 3 years. Natural latex, up to 4 years. Practical tip. Create a renewal calendar. If you buy in January 2024, note to review in January 2025. Do a check every 6 months. Remove the case, look at shape and color, verify whether it springs back to its original form. Changing your pillow is changing your rest. It's the place where you lay your thoughts, where the body recovers and the mind finds calm. Real testimonials of better rest. Big results come from small changes. Mary Helen, 76 years old. I switched to a lower memory foam pillow and added a few drops of lavender. For the first time in years, I woke without stiffness. Joaquin, 81 years old. I used a firmer pillow and a small one between my knees. I no longer get up with low back pain and I breathe more easily. Rose, 73 years old. I turned off the TV before bed, opened the window, and bought a new pillow. Now I sleep 6 to 7 hours straight. A miracle. Mr. Ernest, 84 years old. After changing my pillow, my sleep came back, and with it, life came back. They didn't turn to pills or expensive treatments. They simply observed their bodies and adjusted simple details. Conclusion. Rest is your right. Sleeping well isn't a luxury. It's a necessity and a right. It isn't lost because of age. It just requires attention and small changes. Today we learned about how to choose the right pillow, positions that favor rest, healthy nighttime routines, common mistakes to avoid. Most valuable of all, real testimonials from people who dared to change. Small gestures, big results. You don't need pills. You need to understand your body, care for it, listen to it, and give it what it needs to rest in peace. Sleeping well is returning to living well. It's having energy in the morning again, moving without pain, thinking clearly, enjoying the little things because the body is at peace. No matter how old you are, you can always improve your sleep, and you don't need to buy expensive things or follow strange fads. It's enough to observe your pillow, your body, your room, and start there. Today you can fluff that old pillow, check how it's doing, try a new position, open the window, turn the screen off half an hour earlier. With just that, you're taking a step. Because rest can't be demanded. It's built with care, with patience, and with love for yourself. And now, I'd like to know something about you. How are you sleeping lately? Would you dare to try this change in your pillow? How old are you and where are you watching me from?
I'll read you in the comments.
And if you know an older person who also sleeps poorly, share this video with them. Maybe like you, they just need to change one thing to sleep again and to live again. Thank you for staying to the end. May you have a beautiful night.